House Republicans shift to the right to avoid primaries. Yeah, we've heard this story before, but this story is indeed true. So the problem the Republican Party is having, and I've talked about this a lot on air, but I'm going to talk about this particularly on the Fowler show so people understand the metamorphosis the Republican Party is going through. So after the emergence of the Tea Party and the continued funding from the Koch brothers and the Sheldon Adelsons of this world, what you're seeing with the Republican Party is a shift to the right. And as this party shifts to the right, so the party shifted, and this happens a lot of times in American politics. The party shifted before the elected official shifted. So the grassroots moved to the right, and the elected official was still sort of moderate, centrist candidate. And you see the result of that was primaries. And these primaries were sort of the devolution of the Republican Party. You have, Christina O'Donnell in Delaware, the witch that thought she was a Tea Party maniac. You have the ousting and defeat of Dick Lugar from the state of Indiana, Bennett from Colorado, from Utah, etc., 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 where basically really good members of Congress, members that are centrists, are being defeated by folks that are all the way to the right of them. So what this has resulted in is that those members that are usually pretty moderate in their political views, they shift to the right to win their election because, everything, once you win an election in Washington, your next priority is your re-election. So what you're seeing in the House is that House members are starting to move themselves to the right. But as they move themselves to the right, so they don't get a primary challenge, they're alienating independents in their districts. And that is why the Republican Campaign Committee, the Congressional Republican Campaign Committee, has put 8 more seats in their purple to red category, indicating that those seats are now up for grabs, or they could possibly be won by Democrats because the members in those seats have shifted so far to the right that they're away from a majority of their district. While they have appeased the right wing of their party, they have the independents and centrists in the party are disillusioned as to why these Republicans have won so far to the right. Now, let's put this all in. Let's not look at this in a vacuum. Let's put this all into play in our current political system. Immigration. Pathway to citizenship, immigration reform. Something that is usually bipartisan. George W. Bush supported it. John McCain supported it. Bipartisan immigration reform. The DREAM Act, proposed by George W. Bush, sponsored by Hillary Clinton. Very bipartisan, right? Not with this Republican Party, because now their members are forced to go as far to the right to scare off any challenges from the right or any primary challenges. Understanding that a primary challenge does a couple things. One, it costs you money to engage in a primary challenge. Two, it takes away the focus from the general election where you have to then go against a Democrat. It requires you to have 2 elections in a short span, whereas in the Democrats are only having 1 election because they're all worried about the general election. You now have to worry about a primary, and then you have to worry about the general. You have to raise money for both. You have to strap on the campaign cash. And also, while that's all happening, you have to shift yourself to the right. And as you shift yourself to the right, like I said previously, the disillusioned independents are saying, why the hell am I voting for you? So they're left out in the cold to vote for the Democrat, who might be a centrist Democrat or a conservative Democrat or a blue dog. See what's happening here in America? As the Republican Party continues to go farther and farther to the right under their leadership, under John Boehner, Mitch McConnell, and Eric Cantor, they are alienating the middle of the country. The more they alienate the middle, the more and more this party becomes a regional party. They cannot win presidential elections when they're this far to the right. They cannot win statewide elections when they're this far to the right. And if you don't take my word for it, Fowler Nation, look at the facts. Todd Akin, so far to the right, won a primary challenge against a candidate that was a moderate. Claire McCaskill really should not be in the United States Senate. Every poll had her losing until the far right fringe said that your body has a kill switch to stop you from getting an abortion. I'll give you another example. State of Indiana. Talked to him at the beginning of this video. You have Dick Lugar. Dick Lugar, very moderate, well-respected Republican, But the far right of his party, far right fringe, they run Crazy Man, who believes that rapes are gifts from God. He gets elected, he beats Dick Lugar, guaranteeing a Democrat to win the general election. This is happening over and over and over again all across the country. And I think, well, let me say now, and I'll make news. I'll tell you right now, pay attention to what happens in this November election, these off-year elections in the state of Virginia, because Ken Cuccinelli has done the same thing. He's went so far to the right to evade a challenge so Bill Bolling couldn't run or no moderate Republican can run, that he's put himself in a situation where he has basically disillusioned a majority of the state of Virginia. And he will end up losing the general election because he says stuff like being gay is destructive, or we need to bring back the sodomy laws so you can no longer have anal sex, or you can only do sex in the missionary position. I'm not making this stuff up. This is what he literally said. America, understand the Republican Party will continue to make itself a more regional party the more and more they double down on their crazy ass ideals and views. The good news here for progressives is if we continue to stay the course, we continue to activate people, mobilize people, engage people, inform people, we can take back this country and we can change policies, because we can take back control of the United States House, we can take back control of the Senate, and more importantly, where you see this shift to the right happening the most is on the state level, state legislatures, where we can take those back. The power is ours, progressives, but it requires us to pay attention to the data and act accordingly. Hey, Fowler Nation, the best thing you can do to support this channel is by clicking that subscribe button. And I got a secret for you. If we get to 1,500 subscribers, we will drop a special behind the scenes video just for you, Fowler Nation. That's how much I love you.